What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. If it ain't one thing, it's another. How are you doing this evening? I am your host, Sir Ed Honcho. This thing is just lying to me. Lies. Why do you lie to me, thing? Again, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope life is treating you good. If not, hopefully it gets better. Pardon me, I got junk and jank all over the place. And, I was trying to get something set up and I'm just having some issues with it because I've been trying to switch over from fucking Streamlabs and lighting doing weird shit. It's always something, right? So, anywho, just a little bit. God damn it. Right there. That'll work. Anyway, I'm glad you could join me this evening. We have plenty to talk about. For those of you who have been at this point, everybody should know. Kyle Rittenhouse has been... Xbox don't send me shit in the middle of the god. Why my Xbox? Why does that app even open right now? You have to close that. Anyway, that Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty. A lot of different people with a lot of different opinions on the outcome. A lot of different people who, see things from various angles, predicaments, whatever you want to call the situation. There's been a lot of weird stuff going on behind it. A lot of people talking really crazy. In some perspectives, I just don't understand. So maybe, just maybe, some of you will be able to help me get a better comprehension, or maybe a comprehension from your perspective and why you feel the way you feel. Hopefully we get a very good discussion about this going. And congratulations. History has been made today for the great states of the USA. And it almost goes opposite of what everybody else is saying about the Kyle trial. But we had the first Black female president today, guys. First female president. Congratulations. I mean, a celebration is in order. 85 minutes of female presidency. It has to be a record. Right? It's probably the longest time she's ever been on top. Anyway, y'all don't know, Kamala apparently took over presidential powers for 85 minutes. She was not president for 85 minutes, but people have taken this and just ran with it and just made this whole thing, right? And I don't know why people are getting all super hyped about it and getting all super crazy about it. It's a thing, okay? It's a minor thing. The technicality. She's had success on technicalities her entire life, but hey, we're not here to talk about Kamala. We're here to talk about Kyle, okay? You guys give me just a moment. Something just ain't right. It's true. Give me just a moment though. And I'll be right back in 2 shakes of a Scotty's tail. Back here doing goofy shit. Anyway, what's the motherfucking deal? I'm back. We're good. We're good. Red team go. Red team go. So like I said, we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss a lot of different things. And like I said, there's been a lot of very interesting comparisons people have been making. I'm going to show you why any and all of those comparisons don't equate. And like I said, I just want to talk about it. Have a very sensible discussion, or as sensible as we possibly can. Some people have been a little bit more upset about this than others. Some people have been responding a bit more emotionally, a bit more erratically, I guess you could say, and making comparisons that I don't understand. So anyway, let's talk about the Kyle trial. A couple of things that I just don't get, right? The number one thing that I do not get when we come to talking about the Kyle trial is the racism. And I'm not understanding exactly, and I'll have the line open today. Make sure you're on the live chat. If you are part of this thing, make sure you're on the live chat and not the top chat. I don't understand where the racism is coming from, right? Because as far as I've seen, this was an incident involving white men, right? I've seen some people say, provide misinformation. Here's the thing. Here's like the thing, right? Because usually when I speak on this stuff, I talk about niggas and niggas and their niggadry and niggananigans. It's a lot of niggas that have opinions about this case and have like no idea what's going on. I'm not going to sit here and say I am the most informed. I'm not the most, like, I've kept an eye on it, right? But I have a life. But I've paid attention to certain things. And like I said, I kind of had my thoughts on this made up a while back. And I know people are saying, this is racist. But again, the only thing black was that this was at some riots that started up over a shooting of a black man, right? In a situation that I personally felt was justified. This was a black man who had a restraining order. He was at a place where he wasn't supposed to be, and I don't think he deserved to be shot for that. But let's be sensible here. First off, you got to tussling with the laws. Like he was tussling with the laws with Jacob Blake, who I'm speaking of. Was tussling with the laws, got the best of them, got up, and was walking off. Now, we've seen 1,000 incidents. Like, there's a point where you have to be concerned with self-preservation. People say, oh, well, they didn't have to do what they did. Well, at a certain point, you have to think about the situation you're in and what you're doing. And that's going to come back into this conversation, so stay tuned. And so what he chose to do was to go try to get in his vehicle when there are two, I think maybe three. It's been a while since I watched the video. Cops right there who are trying to apprehend you for whatever reason when you're in a place that you're not supposed to be in. So the first bad decision was going to the place you weren't supposed to be in. Actually, the first bad decision was the issue with the 15-year-old girl. Second bad decision was going to the place you were restrained from. Third bad decision was tussling with the cops. Fourth bad decision for Jacob Blake was reaching into the vehicle to get whatever he was going to. I don't care if he was going to get a pencil to write down their badge numbers. Like, in a situation like that, you're giving them the right to respond. I don't know what you're getting. I don't know what you're pulling out that car. You already know what's going to happen. You already know how that's going to play out for you. You're not going to be the one who wins, right? So there's that. So anyway, he got shot. Things happened. People got upset. Kenosha, Wisconsin. I keep calling it Washington for some reason. Kenosha, Wisconsin. Washington, Wisconsin. And the T doesn't really matter. And cheeseheads, West Coast weirdos. Does any of it really matter? Yeah, and he admitted that he admitted that he had a knife. But I'm just saying, I don't care what he was getting out of it, right? And so you're going to go get a weapon. You could have had a gun. You've had prior gun charges. It could be anything, depending on what information the police had riding up, right? They might not have had any information at all. It is what it is. So then, the riots began. I believe it went over the course of several days. And so this is where we have to clarify the information where Kyle comes in. So Kyle, picture this, Kyle, 17-year-old. Some people try to say, oh, he was 16. Again, to make it seem a certain way. Like, people, that's why I say the blue check marks, those entertainers, those celebrities, they have an agenda, and they can they manipulate with small little lies. So say I have 1 million followers, right? And I deliberately and intentionally manipulate one little piece of evidence or information. So I say from 17 to 16, depending on where you're at, that could make it legal versus illegal to have a firearm or whatever else it may be legal to be out at a certain time curve, anything, right? It could change a lot. The number 17, 18, one number could be a thing. I could say, oh, it was a slip of my finger on my key, on my text or whatever, where I did. It was an accident. I could say I could push it off as a very subtle, innocent accident. When I know that it wasn't that, celebrities, they're checking the shit that they putting out there. They know what they're saying when they're doing it. Their handlers are doing it, whatever. But I've seen celebrities put out that he was 16, right? From all accounts, he was 17 and now he is 18. So that plays a big role. So people said that, oh, his mom jumped in a van and she took her son with a gun and they crossed state lines and they went to this place he had no business being. Kyle had ties to Kenosha. His father lives in Kenosha. So there you have ties. Hey, obviously he had to be familiar. Like, he just wanted to go hang out in some random place, I guess, because the niggas were like, people made it seem like he saw there were BLM riots going on and he had to go shoot down the niggas. Okay. Here's the thing, right? Kid in HB, what's the motherfucking deal? Oh, man, I'm a piece of shit. Stop the show. Pause, pump the fucking, I'm a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit. I didn't shout out, man, who we got joining us. And I'm a man. I took a little pause, man. Yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Let's get it. 3 times. Oh, what's the motherfucking deal? That looks like a new name. Welcome to the den. John, my favorite New Yorker. What's the motherfucking deal? The lovely Miss Sarah Lou. How are you? Ty Baker. What's the motherfucking deal? Bill No. What's the motherfucking deal? 335. Peace. Edwin Baptiste. What's the motherfucking deal? The doctor in the house. Oh, shit. I'm here. Dr. D. Kenobi. What's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Knowledgeable King Judah. What's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. The lovely Miss K Grace. How are you doing this evening, man? The lovely Miss Shonda Tony. How are you doing this evening? Let's see. 17. Motherfucking protege, aka the pimp. Delta Echo Golf. 4. You saw what I did there. 4. You play golf video games? I'm curious. Has nothing to do with anything. Jason S. What's the motherfucking deal? Kenan HB. What's the motherfucking deal? Lady Liv. How are you this evening? Charge. Andrea Lee, how are you doing this evening, ma'am? All right, now if I missed you, I didn't dish you, I promise we have to talk about it, right? So the allegations were that Kyle jumped in the bomb van and it said, go tally-ho over yonder to the battlefield, right? That's what they were saying that he said, right? Didn't happen, right? Apparently, the rifle was already located in Kenosha. And when they talk about these cross-border lines, and it's weird that some people care about borders now, right? That's a weird thing. Shout out to Dan the Man for enlightening me on that perspective. The same people who say borders should be open now complain about international borders should be open, but now state borders should be matter. They matter. State borders matter. Anyway, so the rifle was already in Kenosha. So his mom did not take him in a gun to Kenosha, right? So his mom took him to Kenosha. And a lot of people shit on his mom. A lot of people like to say this is what can happen when these celebrities are allowed to say a bunch of bullshit and I can mislead with one small fact to my 1 million followers and I deliberately lie. Now I've deliberately told 1 million lies because all the people who read this, they get spread, and they believe this thing because we got this problem in America where we believe. Celebrity, shout out to Dan the fucking man with the plan. I appreciate the love. Said, hope you all had a decent day. Hopefully, me calling in won't ruin it. Then again, if some jerk off online running your mouth ruins your day, tough titty. Hey, Dan, you already, we need to have a Dan segment. Just have a button, and it's the Dan segment because we got to hear from Dan, the man with the plan. Always dropping hot facts and hot fire. Top 5. But so it's easy to manipulate the masses, right? And then so on the line, it gets screenshot, it gets shared, and it gets it gets pushed out. And let's not get it twisted, right? We got to be honest. People on both sides of it. Somebody said, "Oh, look, mainstream media celebrities are all tweeting the same thing," and that was false. I went to check for myself. They had a list of a bunch of celebrities. They all tweeted the same thing. It was not true. Somebody photoshopped and just copied the same thing. It was fraudulent, right? I'm probably banned already. We can't ever find. The people say that they try to find the den online, like around the time the streams are going live, and like it never shows up. I was doing a little bit of research myself earlier, and I was having some issues finding it on my own. Certain, if you set the filters a certain way when you search, then yeah, but most ways, absolutely not. It's like way, 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 way down the list. But so they said he hopped in a van with a rifle. This is what the story told. He crossed the border with a rifle. It's the United States. You can pretty much go anywhere you want, except for some states are putting restrictions now. And they're going to check your identification. That's going to get weird. But at that point in time, you could travel, right? Travel freely. He went to Kenosha. He was cleaning up graffiti, doing a lot of other little helpful things during the day. Plenty of pictures of that. With no gun, no nothing. I don't know at what point and with who, he linked up with, or maybe there's friends of his father's, maybe people that he knows. I would assume if he's going back and forth from mom to dad, they said it was only like a 20-minute travel from where he allegedly crossed the border to get to Kenosha. 20 minutes. I can't get to the other side of Houston, right? I cannot get to I can't get to the other side of my side of Houston in 20 minutes, right? Like it doesn't work that way, right? So for him to cross borders, and I'm envious of y'all. What about traffic, right? Anywho, so 20 minutes, he gets there. It's late at night. He's got the rifle. He's helping defend, dealerships and whatever else is going on. This is a Black Lives Matter based riot. Black businesses that don't matter getting burned down. They got insurance. Cool, whatever. All of this stuff is going on. What was it? $50 million of damage were done total. And so now you have Kyle getting caught up in a situation where he got separated from the group that he was. Appreciate the love, $7. Some say Kyle was the real Jason Bourne in them streets. The Bourne, I don't know how many Bournes they got. The Bourne Remembrance. So here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. That's a good question, Andrea. You could ask the same question of the gentleman that he shot. You could ask the same question. Well, you can't ask the same question of the gentleman who's no longer with us, who turned the skateboard into a weapon. And I'm pretty sure they weren't the only ones packing. And I'm going to get to that also, because what you have is there's a couple other questions I think that you got to think about, right? And so, like I said, when the line is open, I definitely want to talk about it. So I definitely, make sure we want to discuss this. It will be open for everybody shortly. Anyway, things get crazy. A gentleman that we come to later find out, has had a history of problems, right? But in the moment, nobody knew his rap sheet. Nobody knew that. In the moment, these damn lights change colors. Super chat, and that's what's making me janky. So it's all a lighter blue in here, and that's doing it. So now I'm getting all greeny. Anyway, so the gentleman, apparently there was some back and forth or something. I don't know if there was some antagonizing going on, but attempted to take Kyle's rifle, right, and Kyle shot him, right? Shot him down, dead. You say, well, I have a rifle. I can understand that. But a question I would pose to you is, if you don't have a gun, why would you attack a man with a gun, assuming that he wouldn't use it, right? So after Kyle downs this gentleman, he gets kicked in the head, hit with a skateboard. Very dangerous situation. Skateboard could kill you. The wrong type of hit in the head could end you for life. You could get knocked unconscious. When you're knocked unconscious, if y'all have seen some of the shit that we've showed often here in the den, being knocked unconscious could lead to very traumatic consequences. It could lead to life-ending consequences. You got hundreds of people around you, you got people chasing you. Down's the next man, right? Enters the third guy, the guy we saw in court, and I forget his name. The names at this point don't really matter, of the alleged victims, who said, that he wasn't shot until, he had gun in hand and was raising it towards Kyle. He openly admitted that in court. That was the reason why you saw the meme of the prosecution, doing whatever he did. Right. And so days go by. We find out that there's no crossing state lines with the weapon. Gun charges get thrown out. People say, oh, the judge wasn't doing this or the judge wasn't doing that. And and, you know, other people saying, well, the prosecutor was acting ass and, you know, he was just keeping him in line. People got upset because the judge's phone rang and it said, and his phone rang and it said, proud to be an American was the song on his thing. People call that prejudice. People call that race. Imagine being an American. Imagine being an American and saying that proud to be an American is racist. Ms. Andrea, I disagree with you. I want to say, was it in Dallas? That gentleman who actually owned a store in Dallas was out trying to defend his store. He didn't have a weapon, and they slumped that man. I don't believe he was killed. I know the rumors initially was that man was killed, but he wasn't. He was severely injured. I think they ended up taking him to the hospital. I want to say I might be wrong. He might have ended up getting killed. But a gang of people jumped that man, beat him badly, stomped him, left him laying in the streets, looking like his fucking ass was by his ears. Like it was a crazy looking situation. The way he looked slumped, he looked at. Because you don't have a weapon, that just means people are going to be more willing to attack you. That's a thing. I think in a world where everything is right and fair, maybe that would be, you know, it would be a fist for a fist, a knife for a knife, a gun for a gun. But things don't necessarily work out that way. So anyway, we get to the point where the case is happening. All three of the gentlemen who were killed were white. Yet sometimes, somehow, some way, this gets lost in translation. This is what I talk about niggas who don't really pay attention and people who were misleading the information. I saw a thing where they said that Kyle killed 3 black men. I saw a thing where he was on trial. It was allegedly a misprint, that he was on trial for killing 3 black men. Like, really? Let's stoke the racial flame. Let's make everybody get upset because let's make it something that it's not. He killed 3 white men. And I guess people just automatically assumed because it was BLM riots that white people weren't there. There's probably more white people than anything. And he beats the case. People start saying, well, this is where the justice system failed us. It failed, and this is racism. I would like someone to explain to me where the racism falls in line in this situation. Pardon me, I got to do a little thing. That's the wrong thing anyway. I would like to know where the racism falls in line in this situation because I don't see it, right? I don't understand it. Ken and HB, appreciate the love. I am ready, Tenny. I'm ready. Well, a little technicality I gotta wait up. But when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's start off in California though. But okay. So here's my deal, right? And I appreciate the love, Ken and HB. So again, these are my issues. And again, like where, you know, there's lots of nuance and it's up to your personal opinion. The court of law has said, you know, it is what it is. But my beef is not with Kyle, not even with the 3 gentlemen who were involved. Because again, we go after, in retrospect, we pull up their histories. I did it myself. I pulled up on the stream a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago. And we pulled up all the bad that they've done so we can feel justified in these men dying, right? But at that time, nobody knew that information. Not me, not Kyle. Only people who knew that were the guys who did it. Turns out, 2 out of 3 were shitbags. The other one wasn't squeaky clean, wasn't a terrible person, right? So, because like I say, the same thing could happen to me, right? I could go be an incident, whatever, right? Be defending myself. I may get down. Somebody say, well, you know, he did some things, and you know, you pull up my record. So it could work either way, right? I'm going to give that. I'm not going to focus it on that perspective. So, but I'm going to be honest. After knowing about Rosenbaum, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck, dog. You're a molester. I don't give a shit about you. Like you can try to make it sound like he was a map. He was a map, and you know he was no. We learned a new word, map, in here, and I don't buy into that bullshit. You know, they can also fall in line. But he was a scumbag. It is what it is. But you can say, well, why was he there? This guy was in and out of jail. Like the same way we're saying, why is Kyle there? If Kyle was there initially, cleaning up, helping up, putting out fires, whatever, had a gun, hey, it's a volatile situation. And again, who knows? Hey, you know, he's with a bunch of older guys. Hey, you might need to protect yourself. You know, the nigger's getting crazy tonight, right? It could be anything, right? Who knows? Kids are easily influenced. Hey, I get the chance to carry a big boy gun. I don't know. The gun was already in Kenosha. He didn't travel with the gun. So that's important, right? My issue, though, is the perpetual stoking of the racism flame. I cannot comprehend. I would think that the niggas would be upset that the white guy running around yelling, nigga, 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 shoot me, nigga, who violates little children, but is out there representing BLM for you guys. Allegedly, this is what would have to be happening, right? Since he was shooting down protesters, guys who were protesting the injustice, guys who were committing injustices themselves against other people, right? I would think that you would be anti that guy. Not even saying you necessarily have to be pro Kyle, but I don't see how you root for the molester. I don't see how you root for the guy who had multiple domestic violence cases. If we really believe all women, if we're, being pro women and all the things that we're talking, like it goes against certain ideologies and logic to me. So I don't comprehend that. Right. But again, if you're not really concerned, if you really have a narrative to push, that narrative is to push racism to the forefront of everything, then you're not going to give a fuck about that. You're going to paint this in multiple ways. So, been a lot of videos, people falling out, faking seizures and doing everything else, people trying to scuffle with the cops. Like, there's a lot of niggas who have no idea, even remotely, what's going on. I talked with somebody today, said this case is fucked up, and it's more fucked up than the situation I think that happened out here in Houston with the young kid who was out on jail celebrating and throwing parties, who killed some people, shot some people up at school, right? And then when you inquired about him, this person had no idea about what was really going on in either case, right? And I would assume that they just heard that from somebody else. We're all influenced by somebody's opinion. There's somebody out there we like and may pay attention to. They appreciate the love. I don't know if I'm black anymore. I tried to avoid it, but I got this thing going on. Yeah. Dude, the sun keeps snitching on me. All right? I tried to say I wasn't black. The sun kept snitching on me. I said, fuck it, I just got to accept it. But again, so like I said, there's a lot of misinformation being deliberately put out there to stoke the flames, right? And I'm not saying that only one side is doing it, but one side has more access to the media, to social media, because you've seen people who said, hey, I think Kyle's innocent, blah, 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 like, and not even invoking any aggression, get their accounts banned, right? And I've seen people like, I've seen people who were lying after the trial, right? Who are still spreading lies, spreading false information. Nothing's happening to them. We know who controls. Appreciate the love, Savage Donald Trump. Raccoon. I was gonna put on my King Coon shirt tonight, but I said I'm gonna let it make it. I'm pretty sure I have something that's actually racist that I can throw the King Coon shirt on for. But what I'm saying is that what they are able to do, especially TV, because black folks watch more TV than anybody, is to stoke the racial flame. Hey, I had a great day today. And you're like, Honcho, what does this have to do with anything that you're talking about? Y'all ever seen that guy, the Michael Jackson impersonator, with the little slick hair, he'd be dancing all in the streets? I saw that guy today. I ran up on that guy. I got a video of it. It was great. It really motivated me. You're like, why? The dude's crazy looking. But that made my day. I'm gonna tell y'all more about it later, but just remind me. So this is what we're gonna do, right? I'm gonna cut the colored lights off because it keeps doing a little janky stuff on the screen. Y'all give me just a moment to do that. And I'm gonna open up the line because I have been, son of a gunner, I have been saying a lot, and I wanna know what you guys think, because this is a conversation show. One, make sure you guys are in the live chat. If you're in the chat box, it has a top chat setting and it has a live chat setting. If you're in top chat, you may miss out on some of the, on some of the comments. For some reason, top chat edits certain stuff. I'm all burpy. Sometimes top chat edits certain stuff. So if you want to make sure you're seeing all the message in chat, because chat is like just as important part of this show, because that's the community. That is the den. So you got to make sure that you are getting all the messages. Make sure you're exchanging thoughts and ideas, because this is what it's all about. What's the Michael Jackson move? Hopefully. I didn't realize those lights had so much of an impact on the, I expect more dislikes before this is all over with. It might be a Maria dislike. She just might be mad just because. Might not even have anything to do with anything. Still love you, Maria, wherever you may be. But I'm not coming to Canada to visit you. Sorry. I can get my ass stuck in Canada. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. Like I say, and there's some other things, some other points I want to get onto. But again, like I said, I want to know the conversation. It's about y'all. It's about y'all's opinions, about what you guys think. This is a platform for you to have a voice to speak out or speak about or speak on, you know, what's going on in today's society and what you feel is right and or wrong about this case. And again, y'all know how we do on the Den. If somebody calls in and you may disagree and you would like to have that conversation personally with them, if both parties agree to the conversation, that we will make it happen live on the channel. Again, make sure you're in the live chat and wherever Heidi is on her actual damn birthday. Happy birthday. May just makes me want to throw up and happy birthday. Hey, and if they riot, let them try it. So let me get the number up. Let me actually open up the thing. I guess it helps me to do that first, right? Before I keep it ratchet. I'm drinking out the mason jar. Oh, I take all threats seriously. Hey, what's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the Den this evening?
Yeah, I had to, man. I had to, bro.
Of course, I was looking forward to it. Dan, the motherfucking man with the plan. What's on your mind this evening, sir?
Let me see where to start with all this. Well, for one, I'd like to I'll get a shout out to Kamala Harris, for starters, for 85 minutes. Right? Yes, the storied vice president, the black Indian, whatever she signed in as in Congress, for 85 minutes while Biden was doing colonoscopy, she had the powers of the president of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. Shout out to her. You know, that might be as close as she ever going to get because they're trying to move to the Supreme Court, quote unquote. We'll see. I don't know. A lot of buzzing going around in Capitol Hill about a little beef. You know, you got some street beef. How y'all doing in the chat? Yeah, colonoscopy. Yes, I probably said that wrong. I apologize. I had a lot of coffee today. I was running around a lot. So I want to
let me hold on there real quick, Dan. Wouldn't that be worse?
Yeah.
If they move her to the Supreme Court, wouldn't that be worse than her being vice president? Because that's a Supreme Court. That's like a lifetime appointment situation, right? So
absolutely, it
is. Terrible.
Hey, look, man, it's only been 1 year, Honcho. We got to give that Indian woman a chance. Yes. I'm saying Indian because that's what she signed in under in Congress. She ain't signing under as a black person. I'm going by what the video I saw. I'm not making that shit up. She signed in with another Indian gentleman as Indian members of Congress. And I mean Indian as in East Asian. Yes. That's why there were black people and East Asian people fighting on Facebook last year about, no, she this. I'm like, she don't care about none of y'all. So, yeah, there you go, Delta. Indian lives matter. Straight up. Yes. Respect. I'm stupid. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. But I just want to give a shout out to Kamala Harris. You know, doing Kelly proud, man, from the Bay today. That's for the Kyle trial. Yeah. I think that they did their due diligence, the jury. Now I'm leaving all this race shit alone. This is more about the Second Amendment and the right for people to not only protect their property but also their community from baddies, ne'er-do-wells. We'll put it like that. Rioting, stuff like that. I did some reading before this show started, and apparently it's going to the Wikipedia page. Now, Wikipedia is hit or miss on terms of factual matters, but I know certain articles are locked down because obviously didn't with the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Obviously, that one they had to lock that down because you know. But they literally have quoted sources saying that like the cops actually thanked them and the business owners thanked the group of Kyle and the group of kids who for cleaning graffiti and protecting that community. So the community was fine with it. Some of the cops were fine with it. The cops thanked them. So it's no one's issue. And obviously the judge struck down the curfew issue and the transporting weapons issue, all that stuff. So I'm leaving that alone. So I'm not a judge, but the judge thought that was unnecessary. So yeah, and two things that really, well, mattering on what side you're on, that really affected this trial. the testimony of Gage, the gentleman who's lucky he's alive, who got the linguini blown out his arm. He said it himself. He pointed the gun. Kyle didn't point the gun until he pointed him first. He ran up on him. What was he going to do? Shoot him right in the head? You should have stayed back a few yards and just shot him there. I think Kyle would have probably still had a bullet up his ass. But still, why would you run up on him when he already shot somebody? I mean, I guess you want to be a hero. I guarantee you, if he had shot him, if he had killed Kyle, we wouldn't heard about him. I guarantee you. The way these DAs have been not prosecuting these people, all this other shit, you wouldn't heard nothing about him. You wouldn't have heard about him. And hell, he spent 14 months in jail, so he already did have some jail time. So you know what it is. And the prosecution was on some other shit. I'm hearing issues with certain evidence that they gave a different version to the defense attorneys. You're supposed to have, if I'm correct, I'm not a lawyer. What the fuck is prepaid? Prepaid. Get that to him. He's a lawyer, goddamn. I mean, he ain't doing criminal law because the law is vast and varied. I'm doing a course right now on legal environment of business, and that's about contracts and estates. And so I'm not a criminal attorney expert. I've seen quite a few episodes of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, which is where Rosenboom belonged. That piece of shit. I'm just going to say that right there. Chomos. Anyway. But essentially, they have to both have both evidence. Both sides have to have the evidence to analyze it and look at it. When the prosecution gave the defense a lower resolution of the new evidence that showed up of the videos, that's fucked up. I read a lot of forms. I saw a lot of lawyers there. I think it was Rakita Law, Viva Frey, and a few other YouTube lawyers, like actual lawyers. They actually mentioned this whole issue about how the prosecution they want them disbarred essentially because all the bullshit they pulled. I doubt that's going to happen. They've already fucked up more than enough, you know. So the prosecution did a shit job. Their star witness, basically, I guess he told the truth, which I appreciate him doing that because that helped out Kyle. Now, the fact of the matter is, a 17-year-old killed 2 people and shot someone else, and that's not cool. I'm sorry that happened. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be out of prison. I'm sure his family's happy that he's back home and that he's free of these charges. I'm hearing some rumors about the federal government trying to get involved. I know Biden put out a message, I guess, after he got done with the colonoscopy. At least his people, they're saying that I want you to go out there and protest peacefully. I told you I was going to change America, so I don't want y'all to riot or something like that. I was fine with rioting with the orange motherfuckers in office, but with me, no, don't make me look bad. That's how that goes. You know, he didn't tell them to go home in peace. He didn't say that. You know, someone else said that kind of shit, and we'll see where that went. Yeah, so, you know, we'll see what's up with Kenosha. But there is one thing, though, I noticed. Some of the protesters, besides the woman having that seizure, she was so full of, like, vitriol and MSNBC talking points. She broke down. She had a fucking seizure. I felt bad for her, kind of. But there was someone else, another gentleman, a black gentleman. He said something that's, and we talked about this earlier, Honcho. He said something that stuck with me, and actually reminds me of a case that actually happened in Texas. So he said, like, so you trying to say that, you know, white teenagers come up down the streets patrolling neighborhoods? No, we ain't with that. What we send black teenagers up down the streets with AR-15s and pistols and go to your neighborhoods? That's already been happening. In terms of criminality, come on, bro. There's a gentleman in Texas called James Broadnax. This happened some years ago. You might have heard of it, maybe. I'm not sure. But essentially, he executed 2 white men for their car and their wallet. 2 Christian men who were out. He came out the recording studio. They were doing this Christian song. I think the last song they recorded was like something involving like "Time Before I Die," with a little time we have left in the earth. Something very fitting for what happened. He asked them for a cigarette. They gave him a cig. They gave him a cigarette, and then he put out his pistol and shot them both. Executed them.
Yeah, I remember the case.
And there's actually an interview of him, uncensored interview, just 10, 15-minute interview of him not being remorseful at all. I popped their bitch ass, fuck their families. So I say that to say this. That threat that guy gave about, we're going to send black teenagers to our neighborhoods, that's already been happening.
Yeah.
The criminality in some of these neighborhoods is ridiculous. And they do go out to other neighborhoods, and they do terrorize other people. Reminds me of the story about those 2 young white folks. And by the way, you can call me King Coon. I absolutely accept that. Well, I'm Prince Coon. Honcho's King Coon. Reminds me of, what was it? Channing Christian and Christian Newsom. It's one of the most disgusting cases I've ever heard. Basically, a young white couple were kidnapped, tortured, raped, sodomized, and I think the woman, they poured bleach down her throat to get rid of the DNA. The guy they burned alive and they shot him in the head, and then they stuck the woman in a trash can, and she suffocated. You didn't hear about that story because of who the culprits were and who the victims were. You know, people barely heard about that story. I believe it was Tennessee or it was somewhere, but Channing Christian and Christian Newsom, you don't hear that story. They don't like talking about that one, even though it's one of the most egregious cases of torture and murder I've ever heard in my life. It's fucking sad. So that's already been happening. You've already had black people, young black people going out and terrorizing other communities, not just white folks. Shit, fucking Asian communities. I mean, so that threat was, that's already been happening. So that threat was pointless. Just go home. Go home in peace. Go home in peace. How about, yeah, like what Orange Man said, go home in peace before they kick his ass off social media. But back to Kyle. He gonna have some lawsuits ready for these motherfuckers. TD Snakes, that TD Snakes motherfucker, siding with that Shomo, and the serial domestic abuser. I guess y'all don't like women, y'all don't like kids. I'm not even going into details onto what Rosenblum or Rosenbum, what he did to those 5 kids. But I have no sympathy for him. I honestly don't. Now, if he stayed his ass home, we wouldn't have heard about his ass. He just stayed at home and probably jerked off the CP, all this other nasty shit. The fact that the media, I'm sorry, I'm keeping it book. If he had stayed home and beat his dick, he'd be alive today. And other kids probably might have been abused by this man. So maybe it's a good thing he's not here anymore. But that's just my humble opinion. Like I said, I know someone's going to call and probably say, "Oh, that coon, I want to talk to him," and I understand that. I'm not a good debater in case we get debating tonight. But when it became a race issue, that's the problem. Like I said, the Independent, that's a UK news network or whatever the fuck they call themselves. They're the ones that ran with that 3 black men were shot by Kyle Rittenhouse. Wow. This is where we're at. Yeah, exactly, Ty. They're defending a chomo, a diaper sniper. Like, this is the problem. What is the morality in this? Now, even though the cops thanked him and the business owners thanked him, and if Kyle's such a white supremacist, one of the businesses he protected, I believe it was the gas station where Rosenbaum punched a flaming trash can into was a gas station. 2 Indian gentlemen owned that gas station. They were testifying at the trial. Did these people watch the fucking trial? What white supremacists do you know defends Indian people? But I've never heard of it before. I'm just amazed. And then Joy Reid's going to run her mouth, and I'm sure Donna Lamone, that greasy little bitch, going to run his mouth too. I really don't like him, as you know, as you well know.
Well, what he just at a party?
Him in a bar.
I think he was just at a party, maskless, with a few other CNN employees. They were saying just a couple of days ago. That doesn't sound appropriate.
Well, was Andrew Gillum there? You know, they like to get it in.
That's terrible.
Yeah, the guys who died weren't black. So why didn't this become a race issue? Probably most likely because it was tied to the Jacob Blake thing. But then again, it seemed like Antifa were out there in full force. Antifa was full of pedos and male feminists who are, some of them are pedos and domestic abusers. Like that, the whole male feminist thing, man. Those dudes try so hard, but a lot of dudes got some nasty history to them, bro. So you ladies, y'all be careful about these male feminists. They might just do that to get in your pants. And then you'll find out how righteous they are. By then, be too late. But good luck with that. I wish you the best. I ain't much to say, man, but it's sad that that a 17-year-old had to kill 2 people. But a lot of 17-year-olds have killed a lot of people.
That's true.
Like James Broadnax. I think he was 17, 18 maybe, when he shot those 2 dudes to death over their car. I think he had like $5 in his wallet. And they caught him in the car of the cops. So he's riding around the hood in a stolen car. She hot as fuck. There's 2 dead bodies in the alleyway. They don't check the driver's license. See what car's there. It's 1 + 1 is 2. And he's bragging about it. Now, that was some years ago. Now he's found Jesus and he's on death row. So, I wish the best for him. Not really. But I'm glad he has some remorse for what he did. Morality has taken a sharp left off the goddamn cliff.
Yeah, I agree.
And that is unfortunate. Children, we walk around with weapons. But if these young men felt the right to defend their community, I respect them for that. Because I probably just stayed in the house myself. So maybe I'm a coward ass nigga. That's fair. It's fair assessment. I give you that. It should have been a 40-year-old man, a military veteran should have been on trial, not a 17-year-old kid. That's really sad. Oh, Mr. Isley, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first man who was murdered by Mr. Rittenhouse, that guy is a convicted child molester, 5 young people, young boys, I believe, and it was anal penetration. He's going to stick the facts right there. Rosenbaum, yeah, you're right, Sarah. Yeah, so that guy, the other guy, Anthony Huber, I believe he was a serial domestic abuser. That's sad. The third guy who's alive, you're lighting dumpsters on fire trying to push it to a gas station. They're trying to blow shit up. Antifa's full of people with mental issues, drug addicts, and of course, chomos. I actually saw an article. Antifa is full of chomos. Yeah, man. But I'm losing my train of thought. Look, long story short, I'd say it's more for the Second Amendment than anything in defending your property and your community. Because I mean, if someone gets away with burning down a gas station nearby, what's to stop them burning down the goddamn CVS? I mean, it's right. Yeah, they could have blown up the whole block. They obviously didn't give a shit. I'd like to see their toxicology reports on how much was in their system when they decided to do this shit. I'd like to see that. I don't know if the fucking prosecution did that or the defense did that. I don't know. It is what it is, man. That's all I got, man. Look, I'm just waiting to see about these lawsuits. That's the next step right here. Because some of these people, he's a public figure at this point, Kyle Rittenhouse. And he was found by juries to be innocent of all these charges. So all this white supremacist shit, all this unjust murder, all that stuff, some people have to pay for that.
I agree. And I think he had a couple of offers for an internship from a few of for a couple of GOP representatives. So I find that very interesting.
I don't know about that. That is interesting. I think they just trying to stun on Pelosi and Schumer and Biden and Harris and all them. I wouldn't trust the GOP as far as I can throw them. A lot of them are cucks and rhinos and shit. I mean, everyone was it Marjorie Taylor Greene? She a savage, bro. I mean, you know, I think she need to calm down a bit, but she a savage. I respect her for that. Most definitely. I would trust her more than someone like let's see some of the people who defamed this man. Gavin Newsom. He needs to worry about fixing his state, California. Worry about that first, sir. At these celebrities, was it Rosario Dawson, Patricia Arquette? She was talking cash shit. Obviously, MSNBC cash shit, youngsters cash shit. But Anna of the Young Turks, she kind of changed her mind after seeing some more. The thing is, just look at the facts of the case and look at the footage of like these people rushing this dude. I think he did what he had to do. I wish he didn't need to go out there with a rifle. I wish the rioters didn't make it that kind of situation where they needed extra help protecting their community, because firearms are a good deterrent from people burning shit down. Case in point, you know, the last summer, people memory hole last summer, the billions of dollars in damage, the lives lost, unjustly. Quite, I remember. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned David Dorn, Sequoia Turner, a bunch of other random murders. There was a Hispanic girl. Her sister was shot in the back. And she said it was from one of the rioters. It wasn't the cops that did that, you know. And I believe her, because the way the bullet came from the shot her, the cops couldn't have done it. It's just some fools shooting off in the streets. And people like to memory hold that shit, man. Y'all got to remember how bad it was. And the fact that a lot of these governors and mayors let this shit get worse because they wanted to make Trump look bad. Yes. And that's disgusting. And Trump was offering help. He might have been talking shit, but like he wanted help the National Guard. I remember, I ain't going to defame people. Well, I already have a little bit, but Beetlejuice. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lightfoot. Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She told him to go fuck himself, but the minute Sleepy Joe got in office, oh, yeah, we'll accept all the help you can give us and all this other shit. And you're putting people's these decisions that these politicians make fuck their communities up. They really do. They really do.
We'll show you.
Oh, thank you, John. Italia. She was sitting in the car with a stray bullet. Name was okay. There you go. Yeah, you see, John knows what's up. Shout out to John, man.
I'll show y'all.
But that's all I got, man. I'm sure someone's gonna call in. I know it's a very interesting story, but like, look, I don't want to try to defend nobody, man. That's just the way I look at the case and the facts of the matter. I think it's more Second Amendment. The fact race got brought into it shows you. And here we go, these race hustlers again, man. Race hustlers.
No, niggas need racism. They it's getting so bad that they can't find enough racism that they're going and just making some shit up. And the sad part about it is the motherfuckers who are, you know what I'm saying, just who are really out there desperate for it to happen. So they just make shit up. There were no black people involved. You know what I'm saying? None. But again.
Yeah, man. But yeah, see, I kind of wish I was on Twitter right now, because I know Twitter's like having like a collective mental connection right now. Free!
Losing their shit.
Honestly, the trial didn't give me as much as just the reactions to it, you know.
I'm going to share some things for those who may or may not have seen some of this. Because like I said, I know a lot of people are on it and haven't really, haven't really kind of known anything that's going on with it. So I'm going to show you a couple of still images, and y'all tell me, what you think. Actually, I got this. I got this backwards. That's not the one I want to show. Let me start from this end. So this is when he. I want y'all to look at this and just tell me something. Tell me what you see. I'll make it large enough for everybody. Hopefully the quality is not too bad. This is Kyle on the ground. Okay. And this is him getting kicked in the head. I don't believe the gentleman who kicked him.
I can't see none.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. So this is a gentleman kicking him in the head. I don't believe this guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then here comes a gentleman with a skateboard looking to rush in, who appears to be the one who got shot, right? So
about Anthony Huber, I believe.
Right. So the story was, and again, it's just Kyle ran in and was just shooting people and just laying them down. That's the way people have painted this, right? That he was just mowing motherfuckers down. He just went in, you know what? Fuck it all. I'm just gonna clean house. Lots of people around, right? There's plenty of people around his image. Why isn't he just mowing people down, right? That's what I was told that was going down. Mm-hmm. So this gentleman is attacking. He's to the side. Now this is Kyle getting attacked with a skateboard. Right? He is hit. This is contact. This is full contact. Right? So is he supposed to the Good Samaritan, Heidi? I mean, not Heidi, Ronald, really? There were no Good Samaritans at this. No, on either. There were no Good Samaritans at this event.
Right.
This is a guy hitting him with a skateboard. What are you going to do? What do you think is going to happen after this, once you attack somebody with a skateboard?
It's not. I've seen videos of people with skateboards. A person died from getting hit with a skateboard recently. Saw a story on that. So you getting hit with that metal deck, bro. That's the problem, bro.
Oh, this one is way too big. This is a little bit of the last instance. It's a little blurry. It's really blurry. It's kind of hard to see this one. But if you can see the circle over here, this is the gentleman who was at goddamn engaged. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is Kyle on the ground. This guy has his gun drawn already, right? This is intriguing. Then you have, make my images bigger so I can actually see the ones I'm pulling up the web too. There's one.
Shonda, you're right. No one talks about that. They memory hole last summer entirely. It's infuriating.
This was the second situation. You got a gun in your hand right here.
Right. Yeah.
Am I supposed to wait? I got a gun on me. And there's again a guy over there who's laying down. He's already been taken care of. Am I supposed to wait to see what you're going to do with that?
Right.
You know, again, so I'm trying to figure out. When you come running up with a gun, I expect you to use that motherfucker. So if I got one,
right,
you should expect me to use it.
Sir, I have this pistol. Let's talk this out, sir. We gotta calm this down. No.
Yeah,
no, what the fuck?
We're gonna walk to the middle of the city and at high noon, we're gonna draw down on each other. That's how we're gonna handle this. No, it's not how that works, right?
Louis spitting bars in his chat, man. I'm sorry, Honcho.
I just saw this shit.
Damn, Louis.
But again, like I said, you got a situation right here. Like I said, you got a gun drawn. So again, of all the three, Numero Thrace is
Mm-hmm.
the one, I think and he got shot and he couldn't use it. And he went real limp-wristed after that. And then everybody else stood down, right? You have other people in his presence, in his vicinity. If Kyle, I don't know, I guess I should actually apply that so y'all can see it. If he was on this shooting rampage, right? He already knocked off a couple people. Shit, if I knocked out 3, why don't I knock 4? Why don't I knock off 5, 6, or 7? If that's the case, I'm just shooting people randomly. If that's what's being told, that's the allegations being made. So again, guy right here, hands up. Did Kyle shoot him? No. The only people who are down are the attackers, right? So super flashy to the arm. So that's my thing.
And the dude trying to drop kick him, he got lucky. He might have been number 4.
Yeah.
Now see, he was a black guy. And if he hadn't Kyle shot him, he'd be under the jail.
Mm-hmm. So that's
but I'm
crazy.
gonna leave that alone.
So the one black guy who was involved didn't even get shot. Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Then you see the guy right there. He's like, "Bro, calm down, bro. Let's talk about this, bro. Just calm down." I think he showed amazing restraint because he could lay down a bunch of people. He could have pulled a Columbine in the middle of the streets. He could have held court in the streets, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And that guy is lucky he's fucking alive.
Mm-hmm. So I say, just showing y'all a couple of things right here. So,
it's insane.
And there's that. So just to give y'all, some visual images. I know it's good to sometimes have a visual to go with the commentary on it. He's a little hurt. He's got a little boo-boo there. Like I said, it's a crazy situation all the way around. Yes, the high tension situation. But here's the thing about that though. Weren't we told that these were mostly peaceful protests? Right? So
fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Yes, fiery, but mostly peaceful. These are peaceful protests. So I mean, I don't understand. So for people to say that, he was angry and he was shooting her because he was getting attacked or whatever else was going on. So maybe they weren't as peaceful, and maybe they weren't as maybe they were just as fiery, but not as protesty. Maybe they were more rioty, right? Maybe they were riots. Maybe these people need to admit that, it was a dangerous situation. Because I see a lot of people saying, well, why did he go into a dangerous situation? And a lot of those people, especially these celebrities and all this stuff, he took a gun into a dangerous thing he knew was dangerous. Wait. You told me they were peaceful protests. So how are now all of a sudden it was a dangerous situation? I'm trying to understand that. So again, like I say, just a lot of a lot of back and forth, a lot of crazy shit going on. I don't know, man. I do not know, but it is what it is. If someone will confirm if you said Kobe. Kobe. Oh my goodness.
Right.
But yeah, so
it's just.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm saying it's just odd, how people are responding, after these things are taking place, and how people have gotten kind of caught up in this, right? But yet, the guy that started all of this hasn't gotten half as much scrutiny, which would be, Jacob Blake and the actions in which he started that kind of got us where we are. That's the initial thing, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, it shouldn't have came to this. But it happened, and a jury of his peers found him innocent of all the charges, and the judge threw out 2 of his other charges for reasons I'm sure he's explained. I don't remember everything, but it is what it is. And good luck to him. So I got to say, I mean, obviously he can't get a job anytime soon anywhere in this country. Obviously not. He can't go to school. He's been doing Zoom lessons for like the next decade.
Yeah.
So when the lawsuits start rolling through for all the defamation of characters they've been him with, he'll be able to, him and his family eating good for a minute, and good for them. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I ain't getting the money. He don't need my money. He won't have enough money from CNN alone, and all these other New York Times, Watch Most, just like Sandman. Sandman, go give that man your lawyer's number and just go to town, bro. That's it. Get that money. Yeah, fuck all of them. There you go, man. There you go, Infinity. So that's the only time the press pays is when they have to do retractions. And what happens is they'll yell the lie and they'll whisper the retraction. That's how they do. It's fucked up, but that's all I got, man.
Okay.
That's all I got, man. And You know, we have our own right to opinions. It is what it is. John, you a fool, John. You a fool.
Bro,
Jesus. I love it. I love it. Well, get rid of Donna Lamone, get rid of that egghead Brian Seltzer, and I'll be happy with that. You can keep everybody else. Cuomo, he's all right. I mean, he has some common sense every once in a while. Yeah, the retraction's gonna be in the comic section. Actually, no, it'll be in the obituary section where fucking journalism dies. That's what the fucking retraction's gonna be. And Project Veritas, I'm gonna stop. I'm about to start ranting about more shit. More people want to call in. So I'm done for the night, unless someone else wants to combat me on what I said, and I accept that, and it is what it is.
Well, like I say, as always, the man with the plan, a.k.a. Dan, with another hot fire.
Oh,
what you got?
One more thing. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Two things. Right, well, one, today is actually the International Men's Day. It's a holiday, so kind of appropriate. This young man got his freedom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And two, there's another trial going on right now. Yeah, right. Ghislaine Maxwell, y'all remember that dude, lady, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's boo, the female pimp. She's going on trial today too. While the entire nation has been focused on this trial, the trial going on for these traffickers of children connected to all these elites and celebrities and all this other shit, that one's not getting broadcast. We're not hearing any names of people on them flight logs. None of that. That's the trial we should be focused on. But of course, they're going to fill that up, and by the time those reports get revealed, we'll all be fucking dead. Just like the safety that the Pfizer's pushing for the safety of the stats to be locked until 2076. But we'll ignore that. Ignore it. Go back to sleep. Have fun. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Then, man, that Pfizer shit is so crazy. We're gonna have to talk about this, and that'll be the one that really gets the channel eradicated. But that shit right there, if that right there doesn't tell you that they want to release this bitch over the next 50-something fucking years to get the information, that means if it's that many pages that they can only release something so much a month, obviously they didn't read it. Obviously, they don't know what's going on, and they're just saying shit, right? Otherwise, release it all. What are you afraid of getting leaked out? What are you afraid of, because, the people will read it. Why aren't the people allowed to see what they need to see? But, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. By the time anyone can sue, everyone that could sue, they'll all be dead. These people aren't stupid. Mm-hmm. They have billions of dollars to burn on lawyers, and they'll drag it out for years. That's how they do. That's how these giant conglomerates do. Mm-hmm. But I'm done. Miss Grace, I love you. Thank you, ma'am. And y'all have a good night. Take care. All
right. I appreciate it, Dan. Spitting hot fire. You have a good evening, sir.
I try. Thank you. No, I ain't going hunting. I ain't hunting shit. Fuck that.
What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in to the den this evening?
A toxic state of mind.
A toxic state of mind. What's on your mind? How much toxicity is on your mind this evening?
I'm here to bring a liberal agenda to you GOP members.
Yes, we need more liberal love in the den. How do you feel about things getting executed Kyle style?
Shit. Did you peep his cleanliness game? Had the rubbers on the whole time.
Yes, he wasn't spreading any COVID, so he was taking into consideration the safety and health of everyone involved.
Hey man, you can't sling lead in a world of COVID without your gloves on.
It's true. This is true. So how do you feel about the overall outcome? Do you think things should have been handled differently? Do you think that there should have been a different approach? Do you feel like the case was tainted? I mean, what is on your mind when it comes to this here case?
The case was tainted from the get-go. Let's be honest. Whenever the GOP and the liberals get in the mix, there's no clear view of how shit should go. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we all know accountability was not upheld. We know that this little motherfucker just ran out there looking for some trouble. Because we talk about it all the time growing up in the places we grow up. And you know where not to go. And you know where not to be. That little motherfucker should have known where not to go and where not to be. That's why he came strapped. Now, whatever reason got him away from his group, I noticed his group didn't quite pull in the game that he pulled in that night. So, I mean, obviously somebody was out there thinking more than he was. But, I mean, it's just plain and simple. When you cut it down the middle, motherfucker got off with 2 kills. I mean, I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all are not out there strapped up, ready to go to get you 2 kills and use the same defense, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Because, I mean, quite honestly, he didn't know he was going out there being Batman, being justice in the night. He just got lucky. That motherfucker killed, what, a pedophile and an abuser?
What? Well, he's a modern-day vigilante.
Hey, man. When you get an 8-point buck, you get an 8-point buck. You don't fucking doubt that shit. I mean, come on. When you really boil it down to what it is, this motherfucker, if he was going to have to shoot anybody, he shot the 2 right motherfuckers. He shot the 1 motherfuckers that everybody could get behind and say that they were bad people, worse than his actions. Because, I mean, fuck it, right? Now, I wonder what would happen if he would have shot like a doctor or, shot an off-duty police officer that was just trying to stop the whole situation. I mean, that would have been weird. Because, I mean, aren't police held to a higher standard as far as engagement goes?
I would believe so. But do you think that would happen? Do you think that they would, that a doctor should be doing doctor things, but do you think a doctor...
I mean, a doctor is qualified to give medical help.
Do you think a doctor would be out there, providing EMT services in a peaceful, mostly peaceful, fiery protest?
Shit, if our nation's 17-year-olds can, they can.
Do you think the doctor would have put the little blue things over his shoes and chased Kyle down?
I think a doctor would have been fully suited from head to toe.
Like
surgical mask, surgical gown. He probably would have had a scalpel too. He probably would have came better prepared than the guy with the handgun. I'm pretty sure the handgun wasn't loaded. That's probably why he didn't fire at Kyle. He probably ran up there like, "Oh, look, I got an empty gun. Better be scared of me."
That wouldn't be a smart thing to do. That would not be.
I mean, we all saw how that ended for this guy. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, you get the GOP involved, you get the liberals involved, the whole fucking curriculum changes all around. I mean, we're talking about racism between 3 white people. Now, I don't know about y'all, but the POC, the people of color, are losing some ground here in this racism argument.
So are you saying that white people are taking over racism now? They're taking over allegations of racism?
Hell yeah.
Have they taken that from us too? God damn it.
They're taking it from everybody. There's a Dr. Martine Luther Kingsley out there giving a speech to a bunch of white people about how oppressed they are.
Those kings. Okay. So, if you'd had your way, what would the outcome have been in this case for Kyle?
If I think anything that should have happened, maybe he goes serve 2 to 5 years. Maybe he serves 5 to 6 years. I mean, the killing wasn't premeditated. He didn't go out there and, purposely kill these guys with a premeditated mind. He wasn't probably thinking about that. He's probably thinking about firing the weapon. I mean, we've all been 17 before, and we know how that goes in our minds. We all think we're Rambo. We're ready to roll in the grass and jump over a fence and take down the old Taliban. But, he went out there, he killed 2 guys. Killed 2 guys in a situation he never even had to put himself in a situation where he never should have separated from his group. I don't give a fuck what kind of excuse you want to throw out there for him. He should have stayed with them. Hell, if anything, the men in charge of him, the guys who were in his group that should have been looking after a 17-year-old kid with a rifle, should have been worried the moment that he left. The officer that found him didn't even know that he had discharged his weapon. This motherfucker was so far away from anybody and everybody that nobody knew he would even fired his weapon. I think they only knew of reports of a weapon being fired. So, I mean, his mama let him down. The group let him down. I mean, he fucked up, made bad decisions. So in a good world, accountability would have happened. He would have been serving a little bit of prison time, slap on the wrist compared to like other people who kill people. But I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't go down like that because, of course, the riot that happened basically was over another man being shot. Of course, everybody's got to get upset and tear down the city. Everybody's got to act a fool. Then you get your local heroes, the local superheroes at night go out there to scrub walls of graffiti with their ARs strapped to their back and to defend property that they have no monetary value in. So, I mean, good for him. He not only was he doing the community a service, he also was fighting crime.
He's a versatile gentleman. We need to get him on the Texans.
Shit. You might as well send that motherfucker into Afghanistan and clean it up. Who's going to fuck with Kyle Rittenhouse in Afghanistan? The man goes over there, cleans up, and let a Taliban walk up on him. He going to put their ass down. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Do you think he could recover the Americans that are still left over there?
Absolutely. This fucking Kyle Rittenhouse. He's a fucking national hero. Give him a fucking shield with a star on it and call him Captain Rittenhouse.
Okay. So, what do you think happens at this point for Kyle? Do you think he gets special treatment? Do you think people try to harass and bother him? What do? You think he kind of fades to black, just off in the shadows? Do you think he has a legitimate lawsuit now that that he beat the case against some of these major corporations? What do you think will happen with with Kyle?
I mean, I don't think he's going to sue anybody. I think we should be prepared for political pundit Rittenhouse. I definitely expect to see him make his rounds on Fox News. Definitely expect to see him make his rounds on social media platforms like YouTube, where, a lot of like conservative channels are and shit like that. He's going to be celebrated as a hero. I mean, whether anybody agrees that he's a hero or not, he's going to be celebrated as one. He went out there, fought the good fight. He's not going to be punished for it. I mean, obviously, he's just been found not guilty of murder. Shit. What is that? Double jeopardy? Can't be tried again over it. Not guilty is not guilty.
Do you think if he's making his rounds,
not going to come back after him?
If he's making his rounds on the social media, do you think we could get him on the Den?
Oh, absolutely. The Den would love him. I mean, let me see a one in the chat for Kyle Rittenhouse as a guest host. Or not guest host. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to take it away from you, Honcho. As a guest on the Den. Kyle Rittenhouse, number 1. No Kyle Rittenhouse, number 2. Y'all just go ahead and light it up. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but, I mean, everybody in the fucking Den would love it.
I'd like to talk to Kyle. I'd like to know what Kyle was thinking. What were you thinking, Kyle? With all
I wonder what kind of team up would happen if you put Zimmerman and Kyle together. You think they could clean up Chicago?
I think that there might be a slight conflict of interest if they were to hang out. I think that I don't know. I think that eventually that Kyle and Zimmerman getting a scrap. I think Kyle would have to take out Zimmerman. Kyle can do us all a favor. I think Kyle can be the what's kind of like what was that damn movie? There Can Only Be One.
Oh shit, the Jet Li one?
No. The Highlander.
Oh no, Highlander.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh damn. Yes. They're fucking. They're conservative Highlanders.
Yes. There can only be one. And I think ultimately Kyle is the one. Shit, projects here. Things just got worse. So okay. So you think that he's going to make the rounds? He's going to be on a lot of the more conservative channels. Do you think that he entertains any of the more liberal networks?
No. I don't think liberal networks would even try to have him. I mean, quite honestly, the closest thing to a liberal network I'd say is maybe like what the fuck is that show on ABC? Fucking comes on at like fucking 6 in the afternoon, 5 in the afternoon. Fucking horrible hour of fucking television, like Dateline or some shit.
Oh, No, that's terrible. Yeah, nah.
Maybe that would be the closest part of fucking liberal media that'll ever fucking entertain him. But as far as it goes, I mean, this guy is basically off scot-free. I mean, if the car dealership that he defended does not employ him in some kind of marketing, they're fools.
So why don't you think he shot the dude that kicked him?
Why don't I think he shot that dude?
Yeah.
Fear. Fear. I think it was fear. I think the dude that kicked him, it was fear. The adrenaline's running through his body. He didn't quite have the nerve yet. But then when old jackass who confronted him at that little corner store, that little gas station, finally made his round back around and got up with him, fucking by then he was pumped full enough of adrenaline, knew that guy was already going to be a threat to him, so he shot him. Like I said, that guy right there, he fucked around and found out. That is the perfect definition of that saying. When fucking people say that shit, that is exactly what it means. He fucked around and found out. And you know what? Next guy with the skateboard, he fucked around and found out. And the guy with the fucking handgun, he fucked around and found out. Like I said, man, if I'm coming up to a situation and I think that guy's a shooter, why are you not shooting him? Why are you not trying to put him down? I mean, to him, he fucking pulled the gun off, fucking got shot in the arm, and then he goes up on stand and fucking says that he pointed his gun at him, then he moved it away, and Kyle shot him. And we all know how it ended. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, accountability is not something that this country wants anymore.
No. Dang it, I had a thought and I lost. Oh, would you say that Rosenbaum is the boldest 5'3" grown man that you've ever heard of?
The pedo that was killed?
Yes.
The one that was shot in the head?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. How do you go to a Black Lives Matter or riot or protest and scream out the N-word? And it's like, I mean, how bold of an individual do you have to be? I bet he was carrying his offender card in his back pocket.
Appreciate the love, Strong and Grand. And shout out to Ken and Miss Grace too. I appreciate all the super chat love, defund the media. Yeah, I mean, it's wild, right? I just find that you know, as a black man, I've seen the folks get very upset about the cultural appropriation of the word nigga. And he just, you know, he took it and put it in his pocket and he was dishing it out for free to everybody. He was here, you get a nigga, you get a nigga. He's on some Oprah shit. He was just giving everybody some niggas. And I just found that to be very interesting, to be such a small man. That he was really,
you know,
really
it's very interesting because I'm pretty sure that if anybody in Kyle's group would have threw that word back at him specifically, all the people around him would have been fired up. Like, what did you say? How dare you say that word? That's the kind of world we live in, man. Some people get passes, some people don't. Kyle knocked off 2 people, got a pass. I mean, shit, fuck it. Can't hate the game, right?
No.
Or you can't hate the player, you can't hate the game, but you can't hate the player.
If you were,
he had that defense team.
If you were a gun manufacturing company, would you make Kyle the face of your brand?
Maybe not the face. Maybe an endorsement. You know, I'd probably send him to a few gun shows. Maybe get like what are those laser stencils on the gun? Kyle Rittenhouse with the rubber gloves. You got to do the rubber glove image while he's looking down sight.
Rittenhouse rubbers.
Rittenhouse rubbers, man. Man, see, this young man has got a great career ahead of him. Now, maybe it's not going to be in the fields that he wanted to, but I mean, shit, he's got marketing around him.
So, do you think that he's free from any opportunities to live a normal life from this point forward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, really, when you look at all these people that end up in the national media, what kind of normal life do they ever get to live ever again? I mean, you've seen the trouble fucking George Zimmerman's been in and out of. You see the trouble that some of those officers from the, what's his face over there in Washington? I forgot his damn name. You saw what the trouble they had just chopping at fucking Walmart. Fucking you see and you look around. What's that girl in Florida that killed her child?
Oh, Casey Anthony.
You know, she got off on killing too. Yeah, Casey Anthony. She doesn't quite live a normal life. I mean, they go in hiding. I mean, if they don't want to be in the spotlight. But I don't see Kyle not wanting to be in the spotlight. I mean, he's a 17-year-old kid. He definitely got a platform to be a conservative influencer. So, I mean, why not take advantage of that shit? That's free fucking money. You can charge $10,000 a pop for an interview.
Do you think they're going to ban him from social media?
You can't ban somebody from social media when the truth is out there.
Oh, I've been seeing...
That's Donald Trump's thing, right? Truth?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, they banned the president.
Yeah,
they might ban him too. They've been banning a lot of stuff. not the good stuff, but a lot of stuff. Okay. So like overall, with this being said and done, I mean, what happens? Do you think that this is going to be one of those cases that really just upsets the country? And do you think there are going to be riot responses to this, or do you think it's going to kind of get blown in the wind and fizzle out?
There might be a 10-man march, but I don't see anything big. I think everybody's more worried about the Ahmaud Arbery case. Because, I mean, I think general consensus, maybe a 70-80% split. You know, everybody kind of wants to see justice served there. Those three motherfuckers need to serve some jail time. I think everybody feels that way. But I'm kind of concerned on how that one will go. Because if that one goes south, then I expect to see a lot of craziness.
Yeah, I don't think so. I definitely think so.
I mean, come on. These are three white people we're talking about. White people have been killing each other for a long time in this country.
It just happened right now while we're talking. I don't know where, somewhere in the country. It just happened. Oh,
yeah. You know, methamphetamines, you know, somebody's sister, brother doing something wrong.
I heard the craziest story today. This is way off topic. It actually happened a couple of years ago. There was a story about a chick who allegedly got lost in the woods and ate mushrooms and other stuff for like a month. They were just telling this great story about how she survived. Turns out she was on meth the whole time. And two guys that she was with, they lost her and they accused one another of murdering her. It's like, so they were all on meth. And yeah, it was just a whole crazy ordeal. And somehow she went from being like a white lady to a black lady by the end of that month. She had like, skin was like dark as mine. I think she just got really dirty. I don't know. But it was the craziest story ever. I thought that was pretty fucking funny. Okay. Well, you got any other thoughts? Like what else, anything else on your mind with Kyle or what's currently going on with the current state of America and the legal system?
Oh, man, the current state of America, man, we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson coming soon, Vice President, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, we're going down the shitter, but we're going down the shitter with our sparklers lit.
And the only way we're going to top China is if The Rock and Stone Cold do become running mates.
Fuck yeah. Can you imagine that?
Stone Cold and The Rock, 2024. They got my vote.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I mean, I'm just here for the liberal agenda. I hope I've stirred your hearts and brought a tear to your eyes. Den, I love you guys. You know, let's get together in our non-denominational church with all of our pronouns and say a prayer for a young Kyle.
I wonder what Kyle's pronouns are.
Is, they, he, she, him?
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. Oh, damn, that's a good pronoun. Bang, bang. Bang, bang with the pew, pew.
Yes, bang, bang, and pew, pew. I think that definitely works for old Kyle. All right, well, that's a bet, Mr.
Don't forget, tip your waiters. Honcho's the man. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate the call, sir. You have a good evening. Oh, man. Shout out to the 10 man. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hey, Honcho, it's Patrick. How you doing?
Doing all right, Patrick. How you doing this evening?
Good, man. Hey, I've been following this Rittenhouse trial, and I've been interested in it mainly just because of how polarizing it's been. You know, I got a lot of friends that fall more on the progressive side, and they're obviously pretty outraged at the outcome of the trial and everything. But, you know, the media kind of portrayed this thing one way from the very beginning, and that was all anybody thought about. And then most of the people who had already made up their mind, they didn't even watch the trial, you know. So some of those facts came out, and even after the trial, you still hear people in the media talking about how he brought the gun across state lines and his mother drove him there, and none of that stuff turned out to be true.
Yeah, that's definitely been a prevailing narrative.
Which, I mean, you think about where the media, most of the major media outlets are located on the West Coast, on the East Coast. They're not the most firearm-friendly areas in terms of just everyday rank-and-file people carrying firearms, right? So you grow up in an environment like that, you're not familiar with firearms, you don't really understand use of force and what is a justified shooting and what is not a justified shooting, right? So you look at, I mean, on the surface of it, if all you knew about the whole Rittenhouse thing with Rosenbaum, because I think Rosenbaum was the hardest one to really reach a verdict on. You figure by the time he fell to the ground and was getting attacked by multiple people, it's kind of hard to get a conviction on something like that. Mm-hmm. But with Rosenbaum charging him while he's unarmed, everybody's saying, well, how could it possibly be justified that somebody would be allowed to shoot somebody who's unarmed coming at them? And obviously, it's not a color by number situation to where, you know, if this is the scenario, then this will always be the outcome. But if somebody is charging after you and you're holding a firearm and they know that you're holding a firearm, you shouldn't have to wait till they take your firearm away from you and see what they do with it. I mean, anybody that I know, if you were holding a gun and somebody who, well, in Rosenbaum's case, 2 separate witnesses testified that he had already made death threats. I mean, based on everything that was on video, it's pretty much open and shut. If you really understand the nuances of use of force and what constitutes self-defense and what doesn't, right? But most of the people that I've talked to that didn't like the outcome, I think it really comes down to just being so dug into their ideology that, you know, I'm on a team, I have to root for that team, and if my team loses, then I don't like it.
So you say you have a lot of folks who lean a little bit more progressively. Have they been pushing the idea of a racial element to this trial at all?
Yeah, they have. And, you know, I will concede the fact that after Rittenhouse was done with all of those shootings and confrontations, when he walked back to where the police were at, I will concede the fact that if it was a black guy that had a rifle slung around his shoulder and was walking towards the police, I don't know necessarily that the outcome would have been the same, right? I will concede that fact. But at the same time, you look at the police and everybody's kind of giving them a pass, but I feel like they played a big role in this whole situation too. And on the sly, were they happy about what Rittenhouse did? Some of them, maybe they were. Some of them, maybe they weren't. But I think the police in this situation, all they really wanted was as much chaos as possible because they wanted the takeaway for the community to be, okay, anytime there's an uprising or a question of the police's authority and people are going against us, we want to make sure that the community suffers as much pain as possible. So then next time they won't push it to this point, right? That's what I think. Because I mean, after he did shoot those guys, you know, the police sure took their sweet time going in there and seeing what happened.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with that. Because then I forgot. I know they were kind of on the outset of it, and I can't remember if it was them or where I may have heard this, that they kind of just were kind of hands off and kind of letting people just kind of do their thing. I don't know if it was this. There was so much going on last year. I might be mixing some of the other stories up. But I know there was a situation where the cops just basically were just kind of like, you know, hey, fuck it. We just, whatever y'all do. And then we'll just kind of come in at the end and, you know, I guess tie up any loose ends. I can't remember if it was necessarily this situation, but I remember hearing something like that. But that does make sense. You know, hey, when people see what we do, how we protect this community and what happens when we're not around, Yeah, I could definitely see that.
One thing that I will mention as far as the racial element to this whole thing, and I think I originally heard about it back when the Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case was in the media, was that there was actually a case up in New York, and I would imagine that there are others, but this is the only one that I had heard about. There was a guy named Roderick Scott who shot a guy named Chris Cervini, and Chris Cervini was a teenage white kid who was breaking into cars. Roderick Scott heard some commotion, went outside, drew a pistol, told him to stop. The police were on their way. The kid rushes him. The kid was unarmed. Roderick Scott ends up shooting and killing him, and he ended up getting acquitted. So it's not unprecedented. And I would suspect that situations like that are going to go against the media narrative, they're not going to get the kind of publicity that Rittenhouse would.
Absolutely not. I agree with that. And I was going to say, there's an agenda, and I'm pretty sure, like you said, there are a significant number of cases that are like that. But if it doesn't paint the picture that we need people to believe that there's some type of disparity and justice, then we're not going to talk about it. And I think also it plays into, like you mentioned earlier, what area of the country you're in. I know a lot of people compare, a case in California to a case in Wisconsin or somewhere else. And I think that those things matter. Different areas are going to handle things differently. I'd like to try to compare cases from similar locations because I think, people are going to view those things comparatively. But it's just, it's really wild. Like, to me, I don't see the racial aspect of it. I don't feel like if any black people were involved or any other races were involved. And the fact that people are trying to inject this it's what's baffling to me. That other than it was a BLM riot situation, I don't really see the racial aspect of it. I see so many people getting upset over this when I think the right outcome happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, Rosenbaum. I was talking to somebody else about this and watching all of the different clips that had Rosenbaum in them. Like, did you see a single time when Rosenbaum was on video when he wasn't being confrontational or trying to escalate something or trying to destroy something? Mm-hmm. That, and it goes to his state of mind. And let's not forget, he was a white guy at a BLM rally yelling the N-word. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I think the media would have latched onto in other situations, but not this time.
Yeah. Had it been flipped. Yeah, then maybe they'd have took that and ran.
Yeah. Maybe Rittenhouse heard him say the N-word, checked to see if he had a pass, and when he didn't, Rittenhouse had to do what he had to do.
He's up. Looks like your pass expired, buddy. You need to renew your license. I have to take you out.
That's right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I say, just everything around this whole case is crazy. It's unfortunate. Anytime a loss of life happens, it is unfortunate, no matter how scummy the people are. But I think, like I said, there's just a lot of small factors that came together that created this. But I think if everybody would have kind of, been actually, I think Rosenbaum is basically, if you look at it, he's the catalyst in this situation. And the guy, like I said, was off his medication. He's been in and out the crazy house. I think he had just got out. He was that day or a couple of days before. And you look at him and what his intentions are at the rally, and I think him, along with probably several others there, it's not about justice or anything like that. It's, hey, we get a free chance to fuck a bunch of shit up and nobody's going to do anything about it. So I think that's the guy that really started this whole thing. I don't think other than that, I don't think Kyle would have, we'd have never heard of Kyle had it not been for Rosenbaum and what he had going on.
Yeah, probably not. I agree. But one thing that, I've taken a little bit of firearms training and gone through concealed carry courses and things like that. And one thing that they do talk about in those courses is that, one of the better aspects of a concealed carry permit, because where I live, you can carry concealed or you can carry open, right? But they talk about how carrying open, especially in certain situations, is problematic. Is it legal? Yeah, but is it a good idea? Usually not.
I agree with that. Well, I know people who are tempted, Like I said, I've known some folks. I haven't always been the most upstanding individual all my life, and I know some people who might still be on that side. But, and, you know, something like that to those type of people can be a temptation, okay? Or you're letting somebody know in advance, okay, well, I know this guy may be armed. I might have to approach it like this or, you know, whatever. I think you kind of give people an advantage when you are letting them know that you're carrying. I think concealed is the way to go.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting, you know, I was telling you about some of my progressive friends that I've had these conversations with, and I talked to them about, you know, the contrast between the Ahmaud Arbery situation and the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. And they're like, oh, we don't even need to compare those two. That's night and day. That's night and day. And I'm like, yeah, it is night and day because Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And those two down in Georgia, they're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
What did Kyle Rittenhouse do when we saw him on video? Every single confrontation that he had, he was trying to de-escalate. He was trying to get out of there and not have a confrontation. And then you look at those two guys down in Georgia, and they were chasing somebody around with, you know, a shotgun. And the real, I think the McMichaels are going to go away no matter what. But I think the worst part of it in the video is when Ahmaud Arbery is running behind the truck and you see Travis get out of the driver's door and point the shotgun right at Ahmaud Arbery when he's still, I don't even know, 40 or 50 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, at that point, it's like, okay, you're not in immediate threat of anything. You suspect this guy might have committed some kind of crime, but you really don't know what because you didn't witness it, and you're pointing a shotgun at somebody.
Yeah. That was definitely.
Where,
oh, wow.
And then, you know, you look at the other side of it with Rittenhouse. He didn't point his gun at Rosenbaum until he was planning on using it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like I'm saying, to me, even with that whole situation, Rittenhouse was extremely disciplined, in my opinion. You know, he hit what he shot at. He wasn't, you know, just spraying around crazy. He wasn't just shooting recklessly. And again, like I said, even he took a couple of licks. So that's why I say to me, it wasn't the way people made it seem. Like I said, because if it was truly like he was just afraid of any and everything, I think, you know, he'd have shot a couple of those guys before they got within a couple of feet of him or were even able to, you know, make contact physically with him. That's why I say just this situation seemed a lot different to me compared to, you know, some of these other things that have taken place.
Well, and I thought too, one of the reasons why the Rosenbaum interaction that kicked everything off was going to be the hardest part for the jury to figure out was because in the second confrontation you're talking about multiple people while he's on the ground in a you know, at a disadvantaged position being on the ground. And not only that, there were 2 or 3 people in that second confrontation that ran up on him and then stopped, and he pointed his gun at one guy right after he shot the last guy in the arm. He pointed his gun at the next closest guy. That guy put his hands up, didn't come any closer, and he didn't get shot.
Correct. Exactly.
So I hope that nothing in terms of any kind of an protest, or I hope no further violence comes from this whole thing, because I really do think that what has caused the majority of the division has just been people's misunderstanding of when you can and can't use a firearm in self-defense.
So do you think, though, I mean, with Kyle and what's happened, what do you think happens with him moving forward? Because again, now he's kind of a notorious figure. Some people see him one way, other people see him another. What happens? What do you think as he moves on from this trial? What do you think happens with it?
His attorney actually did an interview right after the verdict. Richards did an interview, and they asked him about it, and he said that they're probably not going to stay in the state of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably going to relocate somewhere. Although at this point, I mean, where are you going to go besides I don't know, maybe somewhere in Europe without being recognized?
Yeah.
But so he'll certainly relocate. He's probably going to have 24-hour security for at least a little while longer. and then once he makes his initial moves and gets settled in wherever he's at, I think he's got to start going after these media companies, because the only way to make them feel it is by hitting them in the wallet, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So let's say a lot of these people spread a lot of, lies, rumors. I mean, you got people still saying all kind of crazy things about him, and they need to be held accountable. If they're not going to correct it themselves, they definitely need to be held financially accountable.
And I might have even believed that the media didn't have bad intentions if once the trial started and the actual things that were coming out in court were reported on responsibly, but that didn't even happen. They were trying to double down and finding little snippets of stuff here and there, and the judge is racist because he made a comment about Asian food and all this stuff that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, so the way they did this whole thing was crazy. Like I said, the thing that really showed me that we were out there was, like I mentioned earlier, was the proud to be an American. He played that on. Imagine that being racist in America. That's.
Oh yeah, his ringtone on his phone or whatever.
Yeah, imagine thinking that proud to be an American, happy to be in the country that you love, is considered racist. But like I said, they took that and they ran with it. I saw so many crazy things. It's just that I have a hard time understanding why people think the way they do. But I can't change that.
Well, and his ringtone could have been, Mary had a little lamb, and then the vegans are coming after him or something. He was in the crosshairs no matter what, right?
Yeah, you can't win for losing, man. Oh man. Yeah, like I say, it was so much going on. Like I say, it's unfortunate. And I feel bad for the young man. Again, like I said, to me, he wasn't reckless. I think that, just things got out of hand. And I would say, when you're young, you make certain decisions, especially at that age where you're between, you're a young adult or becoming a man or whatever. And, depending on the crowd or the group he was with, I'm not super familiar with them, but, maybe you want to show that, you were relevant, that you belonged. And I'm not saying he went out there trying to gun people down. I don't think that was the case. I genuinely felt like he was out there trying to be helpful. Because there was proof to him, proof of him being at the car dealership, watching out the video, all these other things. And I think things just they escalated quickly, and like I say, with the Rosenbaum situation, and nobody plans for anything like that. But I think he was more prepared for what happened than some of the others.
Yeah, I hope he learns a big lesson from this and makes a little bit better decisions, because he truly did put himself in a situation where I don't think he understood how high the stakes really were.
Mm-hmm.
And if hopefully he just keeps a low profile after this.
Yeah.
And hopefully someday he can put it behind him.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, we live in, 24-hour news cycle. There was always something going on. So I give it a year or two, and it'll be kind of yesterday's news, and people will move on to the next thing that's happened. I think we got so many other problems taking place around us that he'll be forgotten pretty soon, as long as he keeps his head down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else you got on your mind, Mr. Patrick?
That's all I got, Honcho.
Okay.
You have a good night, okay?
You too. I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts with me this evening.
All right, take care.
You too. Shout out to Patrick. Appreciate the call. Let me see. Ronald Isaac, you're a terrible person. Let me take maybe one more call, even though we might go a little over the time. And I see someone who's been trying to call in and definitely find out. Ronald Isaac, you're a terrible person. Have you burned down your Aldi's? All right, we'll make this one the last one of the evening. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this evening?
Hello, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's Miss Andrea.
Good. I know we're talking about a lot of heavy topics and a lot of situations, but you know what I want to know? How was your day?
It was great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Everything's well with me. I know we're talking about a lot of different situations, and I don't know if you're going to are you doing Thanksgiving?
Yes, I will be doing Thanksgiving. Yes.
Yes, with your family?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Just want everyone to know out there, especially in the comments, to be thankful. And I think that's what it's all about right now, unfortunately, even though I know this is, not the topic and the situation you're talking about, Dean, but that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, this is the deal. We from time to time, we stray off the topic. We go a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right.
I'm definitely straying off the topic tonight.
What about you? What are your Thanksgiving plans?
I'm going to see my family, and trust me, I am not a family person. I'm not. I'm a Grinch. I am not about Christmas. I am not about Thanksgiving. I could care less about the holidays. It's all about the kids.
Why are you Grinching? Why is that?
Oh, I don't. Honestly, it's for the kiddies. It's for the little ones. And just every year, you just got to be thankful that you have the people around you and beside you, and that's all that matters. But overall, I could care less.
Terrible. You got to appreciate, the moments that you get. Like you said, it is about those people. But we live in a time right now where things are just so uncertain. I think that you got to value that more than ever. I think it's very important that,
absolutely,
that we they'll spend time with your loved ones, because, shit, next year they might try to say you can't spend time with your loved ones. Last year they tried to suppress people, but, people, it's America. People weren't having that. So you have to take advantage of that. Then, with the questionable times, you don't know who's going to be here next year, so you definitely.
Absolutely.
You definitely have to appreciate
I mean, you look at last year, you look at this year, and then hopefully there's a better future for next year. So, sorry to get off topic because I know you're doing your thing, but I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Hello.
And you have a good Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. It's good to hear from you, and I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, take care.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Shout out to Miss Andrew. So this is what we're gonna do. So originally tonight I was saying if I didn't think they were actually going to get the case handled today. So I was saying we were going to talk about top 5 female singers, because Barstool put out a list earlier this week, and I thought it was terrible. I mean, I thought it was an awful, awful list, right? And because it did happen, so we decided to talk about this instead. So I was really looking forward to hearing Black Ashley's list, because Black Ashley said some things the other day that upset me. Black Ashley said Stevie Wonder was terrible, right? That really upset me. She also condemned the names of Tina Marie and Christina Aguilera and someone else, right? So I was very upset because I wanted to hear her list, and I dropped the link, the Discord link, because we chop it up, like call it the after party. After the stream, we hop in the Discord, we, just chop it up with each other, talk about either whatever's going on in the day or, topic or whatever else. It gets a little crazy, and there's some things that we can say in there that are just better suited for the Discord. What, Miss Grace, that hurts my heart. Y'all hating on my boy Stevie. But, so that may be better suited for those conversations. But again, like I said, I just want to let everybody know I do appreciate you. Y'all know Saturdays, don't do any streaming on Saturdays. What are you talking about? What the hell, Black Ashley? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is the Stevie beef, right? Like what has Stevie Wonder done to you that has caused this beef? I need to know. We might have to talk about it in the Discord. Because I need to hear these arguments. Oh, it's terrible. This is terrible, terrible. We're faulting Stevie for his hairstylist. Is that what we've gotten? Whew. This is terrible. This is terrible. Poor Stevie. He's being blindsided for no reason. But like I said, so what we'll be doing is we'll be back at it Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time. I'll try to make sure to have the topics and well, not the topic, not the whole week, but have the topic up early. For those of you who fuck with soft sports, we'll be there Sunday talking about the damn Texans. I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it, but we'll do it. We'll be talking about it. But like I said, man, I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all, for being yourself. If you're watching and you're not in the live chat, you gotta get in the chat. The chat is a huge element of the Den. It's very important, because like I said, the Den is a community where everybody's opinions are welcome. Where you agree, you disagree. I think it's very important that we have these. Why don't you have Discord? It's free. Get on a web-based Discord. You can get the app, or you can do it via the web. Like, there's no excuse not to have Discord right now. It's like you need to get all them damn fucking malware apps off your damn phone and delete it, and then get on the damn Discord. I'd put the link in here like every night. Just put the link in here a few seconds ago. Get in the damn Discord and continue to share your bad opinions with us. Black Ashley. Your name is still in there as Lady Memphis. So, yeah, she Discord Sadiddy. But again, it's a great place because in the after party, like I said, we can all chop it up via voice chat. We share thoughts, ideas. We're in there randomly throughout the day. And I mean, you would be surprised at some of the discussions that take place. Oh, that's terrible. We have some of the craziest discussions, and we have found out some wild things about each other. That's why I love the Den, because like I said, we are a community. We are a dysfunctional family. And so I tell you this. Through this, I've met some wonderful people. I think some people have met each other and they're wonderful to each other. This is a thing that I never thought it would be. So, I mean, we're inviting you to join our dysfunctional family. Yes, I am ready to be carried in Halo. So, I'm not good. I'm going to be on some Halo Infinite. And that's shown in the Discord. Because I am terrible and I'm okay with that. But like I say, man, you're more than welcome. Like I said, I dropped the link there. I see a couple of folks that jumped in. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the one. And we share a lot of links in the Discord to talk about the things that we talk about, things that may have been mentioned on the stream, so that you can kind of catch up and, just, kind of be up to date. And like I say, everybody's welcome. A lot of different rooms in there, a lot of different things for various topics. We have a men's only room because the women are terrible and they're mean to us. They bully us, so we have to go run and hide in the men's only room. And anyway, that's a whole other conversation. You want to know, you got to get in that butch. But with that being said, thank you. It is my honor. It is my privilege. It is my pleasure to be able to chop it up with you guys each and every night. I mean this. You got to be thankful for technology. Shout out to Broderick. Broderick brought up a good point about how much the world has changed in just 20 years, what it used to be to right now. And I could not imagine, 20 years ago, being able to do something like this. You had little webcams, you had little AOLs and all that, but to be able to reach out internationally across the world, and it's a beautiful thing. So I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for being here. You can be anywhere. You can spend time anywhere in the world. But the fact you're in the Den this evening is greatly appreciated. Shout out to all the Den folk. Shout out to all the OG, triple OGs, quadruple OGs, and quintuple OGs. Goddamn. But like I said, I'll be immediately in the Discord. I'm already in the Discord now, so y'all just follow through. We can chop it up. I would say meet me there, don't beat me there, don't meet me there, but I'm already there. You can't beat me if I'm already there. Well, Dylan already beat me, so it is what it is. But with that being said, talking up a deuce, y'all be cool. Kicking my feet up, so I don't want to hear nothing about how I'm sitting in the damn credits. You can't even see my feet. So. Good night, all y'all, man. I thank y'all. I truly appreciate all y'all.